Animation of people walking under the word mind.
Welcome to this video companion, created to enhance your understanding of the Let's Talk About Self-Harm Management Toolkit.
A booklet opens.
Our goal is to offer a supportive aid that complements the information found in the toolkit.
Pages turn on the booklet.
This video is not a replacement, but a guide to help you navigate its content effectively, and should be used in conjunction with the online toolkit and resources. Let's start by going over the aim of the toolkit. Aim of the toolkit.
Scenes of children meeting their parents and a teacher at school.
The aim of this toolkit is to support those working with school-aged children and young people under the age of 18 in educational settings, and aims to increase understanding and awareness of self-harm.
Words written on a blackboard.
Support staff in being aware of risk factors and signs that are associated with self-harm. Provide tools for educational settings and staff within them for responding to students who self-harm. Raise awareness in educational settings of what support is available locally in responding to self-harm and when and/or how it can be accessed to support the system and people around the individual.
A teacher stands by the blackboard. Children at school.
While the toolkit is designed with educational settings in mind, it may be useful for other settings for those working with children or young people under the age of 18. The focus of the toolkit is on spotting the signs of self-harm and how to respond to it, as well as raising awareness of self-harm. Here we will address how to identify self-harm,
Woman sets bullet points.
how to assess it, how to help the individual, and how to support the friends and peer group around them. The toolkit includes information about responding to self-harm. However, as usual, in the event of a medical emergency, call 999.
A hand dials the number on a mobile.
How to identify self-harm.
Girl sits under a cloud.
The term self-harm is used to describe a wide range of behaviours. Self-harm is often understood to be a physical response to an emotional pain. There are a range of different reasons why people self-harm. Some common reasons include
A boy with his parents at school.
to deal with distressing experiences and difficult emotions. Self-harm can occur at times when they feel overwhelmed, exposed, anxious, stressed, angry, unable to cope and/or unable to express themselves.
A hand twists a dial.
To enlist help or concern. For some young people, self-harm is a way of expressing their distress non-verbally.
Door closes in a school corridor.
To keep people away. Some young people self-harm with the intention of making themselves unattractive to others, or to prevent others from getting close.
A boy approaches pupils.
To fit in with peers. Creating a feeling of connection and belonging with others in a group and conform to group expectations in order to fit in. Understanding these reasons is crucial for providing meaningful support and intervention.
The boy keeps to himself.
On page 6 of the toolkit, there are some risk factors which may mean young people are more at risk of self-harm, particularly if they have a number of risk factors. Children and young people with the protective factors listed may be less at risk of self-harm. However, some who self-harm may not have any of the risk factors and may self-harm despite having protective factors, for example, supportive adult relationships. Some examples of risk factors can be low self-esteem, perfectionism, pressure to perform well, worries about sexuality, gender and identity, gender dysphoria, neurodivergence, being alone, family members who self-harm, family conflict, pressure from family to achieve at school and/or unreasonable expectations. And some protective factors can be having the knowledge and ability to seek support and trust in adults, access to social support, good relationships with family, school and wider community. These are just a few examples from the toolkit. We recommend that you take time to read page 6 and 7 to understand the many risk and protective factors that could lead to self-harm.
Pages are shown on the booklet.
How to identify the signs of self-harm.
Two cartoon eyes blink and look around.
It might be hard to know if someone is self-harming, as there may not be any warning signs. However, some changes in behaviour that could occur include changes in eating, sleeping habits, increased isolation from friends and/or family, changes in activity and mood, for example, more aggressive or less engaged than usual, lowering of academic grades, talking about self-harming or suicide, drug or alcohol abuse.
Pupils sit in a class.
Expressing feelings of failure, uselessness or loss of hope. Covering parts of their bodies, i.e. with long sleeves, tights, trousers. Avoiding activities that exposes their bodies, such as PE. Risk-taking behaviour, substance misuse, unprotected sexual acts. The relevance of individual signs and risk factors may vary according to the age of the child or young person. These signs may not necessarily mean there is self-harming occurring, but they are indicators that the individual requires additional support.
Pupils sit in a class.
Conversation prompts.
Groups of pupils mingle in different cliques.
Every child or young person is an individual, and their experience of self-harm is going to be unique. Talking about self-harm is not easy. However, the prompts from pages 16 and 17 give some suggested phrases for guiding the conversation. For example, use active listening such as, "Can I just check with you that I have understood that correctly?"
Teachers with pupils.
Be clear about confidentiality. Example, "I appreciate that you may tell me this in confidence, but it is important that I let you know that your safety will always be more important than confidentiality. If I am worried that you may be feeling unsafe or at risk of hurting yourself, my job is to let other people who can help you know what's going on. But, where possible, I will have that discussion with you before and we can make a plan together that will keep you safe."
A teacher stands next to a whiteboard where words appear.
Establish rapport. Use active listening. "Can I just check with you that I have understood that correctly?" Explore the reasons for the nature of self-harm. Example, "I wonder if anything has happened to make you feel like this, or whether there are several things that are going on at the moment. In what way are you harming yourself?" Discuss coping strategies. Example, "Is there anything that you find helpful to distract you when you are feeling like self-harming? Perhaps listening to music, texting a friend, going for a walk?" Confirm ongoing support. Example, "Why don't we write down what we have agreed as a plan together and take a photo of it? Sometimes when we are feeling low, it's difficult to remember the things you have put in place. This can help remind you." Here are some do's and don'ts for talking to children or young people about self-harm. Do. Make time. Listen, respond. Be interested. Act appropriately in line with policy of confidentiality. Inform child or young person first before informing others, where possible. Look after yourself. Don't. Tell them to stop self-harming or give them an ultimatum. Do not ignore self-harm. Make judgments or promises you can't keep or discuss it in a public place. Don't promise confidentiality for the young person. Discover or informed about self-harm.
A teacher meets a pupil in a school corridor.
In the instance of a disclosure of self-harm, deal immediately with any medical requirement as appropriate. If urgent medical attention is required, call 999.
They sit on a bench together.
Once treated, maintain a calm and reassuring approach with them. It is important to maintain an open conversation with the child or young person and explain the next steps.
The teacher approaches a blackboard where steps are listed.
Always inform the school's designated safeguarding lead of any incident. Explain confidentiality with the child or young person and discuss the options for speaking to their parents. Gather additional information from the child or young person, including whether they have spoken to anyone about their self-harm, and engage their social worker if they have one. Seek advice, if required, from the local child and adolescent MH service, and contact the school nurse for advice if appropriate. Log the incident and ensure the safeguarding lead has been informed and updated, in addition to discussions on the best course of action. Discuss what help or support the child or young person would need and jointly develop a safety plan with them. Explore coping strategies and useful resources with them that they can refer back to. Ensure ongoing support is included in the safety plan. Assessing risk.
A teenager approaches the blackboard. A chart forms.
When working with young people, it is essential to develop an understanding of the level of risk that they may present to themselves and to remember that this can change over time. It's okay to talk with young people about these issues. It will not make things worse.
Teen walks up a staircase.
Factors that increase the risk.
The staircase gets steeper.
Where the child is of primary school age and presents with self-harming behaviour, thus increasing the risk of developing further mental health issues in the future. The use of alcohol or drugs when self-harming.
The teen climbs up the ever-widening stairs.
Feelings of hopelessness about life.
Jack in the Box opens.
Methods of self-harm where there is a higher risk of accidental or unanticipated severe harm.
The steps rise even more.
An increase in the frequency of self-harm, or a feeling of having to do more to feel what they perceive to be the benefits.
Balloons pop.
Complex family dynamics and a lack of support system.
A hand holds a magnifying glass.
Being aware of and tackling these factors is key to offering well-rounded, personalised support for the young ones under your care.
The words are magnified.
Distraction techniques.
A boy broods in a dark room.
Replacing self-harm with safer coping strategies can be a helpful way of responding to difficult feelings. The coping strategies appropriate for different children and/or young people are likely to vary by their age and personal preference. Talking to the child or young person about what coping strategies work for them may be useful, as we talked about in the previous chapter. Different strategies may work for different individuals and may require time to become effective. Some strategies that may be helpful include going for a walk, looking at things and listening to sounds and other grounding techniques. Create something, drawing, writing, music, cooking, sculpture, crafts.
The boy plays guitar.
Going to a public place, away from the house. Keeping a diary. Drawing on the skin with a pen or paint instead of cutting.
A bird is drawn.
Sports or physical exercise, such as walking, trampolining, kick a football against a wall, go for a run. Sing and shout loudly.
Pages turn on the booklet.
Remember, these are just a handful of examples. It's vital that you familiarise yourself with all of these techniques on page 21 of the toolkit. Roles and responsibilities within schools.
A group of 4 adults stand together.
In addressing the delicate issue of self-harm within schools, a collaborative effort is crucial to fostering a safe and supportive environment for students. Here are the key roles and responsibilities.
A teacher stands by a whiteboard.
Head teacher. The head teacher plays a pivotal role in creating a positive mental well-being culture within the school. They ensure that incidents of self-harm are reported to the designated safeguarding lead, oversee staff training on emotional well-being, and spearhead the development of a comprehensive school self-harm policy, providing support staff, maintaining effective record-keeping procedures, and ensuring access to support are vital aspects of their responsibility. All staff and teachers. Every staff member, regardless of their role, should be vigilant and proactive, reporting incidents to the designated safeguarding lead, familiarising themselves with the self-harm toolkit and policies, and promoting discussing any concerns with a designated person are paramount. Offering support to students, making resources known, and adhering to the toolkit on communication are essential steps in creating a nurturing environment.
A woman by a whiteboard.
Designated safeguarding lead. The designated safeguarding lead acts as a central figure in the school's support structure. They ensure that students know who to turn to if they are experiencing or aware of self-harm. Maintaining updated records, effective communication with school leadership, and facilitating access to resources are part of their responsibilities. Additionally, they play a key role in addressing suicidal feelings urgently and promoting the emotional well-being of both students and staff. School governors. School governors collaborate with the senior leadership team to promote awareness and understanding of self-harm within the school community. They support the development of school policies, ensuring that students are aware of available support. This collaborative effort extends to the curriculum, training, and information for parents, fostering a holistic approach to addressing self-harm. These roles collectively contribute to a compassionate and informed school environment, ensuring that students receive the support they need to navigate their emotional well-being.
Pages turn on the booklet.
In conclusion, at the end of the toolkit, you'll discover a wealth of valuable resources, contacts and helpful links aimed at further enriching your knowledge and support capabilities. These resources extend beyond the scope of the toolkit, offering additional insights into related topics such as suicide prevention and local safeguarding policies.
A woman reads the booklet.
These supplementary materials serve as an invaluable reference, providing you with a comprehensive toolkit to address the complexities surrounding self-harm. Take the time to explore these resources, ensuring you're well equipped to navigate the intricate landscape of supporting the emotional well-being of the children and young people in your care. Thank you for taking some time to watch this video. We hope it was helpful and gave you some valuable insights.
Teacher talks with a pupil.
Keep in mind, the toolkit has much more crucial information waiting for you. We recommend reading it in full to get a deeper understanding of this sensitive yet incredibly important topic.
Pupils and adults talk under the word mind.